Ah, Dungeons and Dragons and pizza. Name a more iconic trio. I bet you can't. Sitting around a table playing a fun tabletop game, eventually pizza is gonna come into the equation. In fact, famed author R.A. Salvatore once said something to the effect of, you're sitting around with your friends at a table, so you can smack them in the back of the head with a piece of pizza if necessary. It was from a podcast I once listened to I don't know. Today I'm going to talk about the 3 pizza-themed D&D miniatures that I own. First, it's Petey, the Pizza Dungeon Dragon, sculpted by Gene Van Horn. This appears to be a mascot for the Reaper Kickstarter Reaper Bones 5 Escape from Pizza Dungeon. And then later on, he became the mascot for the Pizza Dungeon Dice product lineup. A set of dice sold in shakers with some plastic miniatures thrown in as bonuses. Now, my research didn't let me know if he was supposed to be the mascot for the Kickstarter first, and then they decided to use him for the dice, or whether or not he was sort of marketed for the dice and became the mascot for the Kickstarter. I think it makes sense that he was the mascot for the dice first, and then eventually became the mascot for the Kickstarter as well. He's been sitting unassembled in my collection for many years, so let's put him together and see what he looks like. Modern PVC miniatures, especially the multi-part ones from Reaper, are pretty great, and they carry over all the positive aspects of PVC, including amazing durability. And as you can see here, Petey, the Pizza Dungeon Dragon, has pretty good detail. You can see all the pepperonis on the pizza. This would be a great miniature for a joke campaign, or just somebody who wants to have a goofy miniature on display on their shelf. This medium miniature is still available for purchase from Reaper Miniatures. Next up is number WF2, Aerial Servant, from Ral Partha's Weird Fantasy series. This is actually the second model with the same name in the same series. Weird Fantasy used to be produced under a partnership between Ral Partha and Citadel. And apparently the licensing deal ended sometime in the mid-'80s, probably around 1986 from what I can tell. So if you have an Aerial Servant with pizza, that's from the Ral Partha Weird Fantasy series and not the Citadel Weird Fantasy series. And like many classic miniatures, it's actually still being produced to this day. You can buy new copies of this miniature from Iron Wind Metals. This is what used to be the manufacturing portion of what was previously Ral Partha & Company. There's a lot of stuff going on with that, so that's a story for another day. And finally, we have a classic miniature from the Grenadier Comedy Lords set. Yes, that's right, it's the Pizza Delivery Man. Number 6009. Again, you should go check out the Lost Miniatures Wiki, and I will leave links in the description if you want the full story. But this guy, he was actually a retooling, I believe. It looks like they just retooled, but he originally was a shield bearer from the Skeletons Raiders of the Undead box, number 6002. So he is ready to go with his sword sheathed at his hip, a perfect medieval skeleton delivery guy. Lots of fun. I really love this set. This comes complete with the 2 skeletons sitting at the gaming table, ready for their pizza to be delivered. And yes, this miniature is still being manufactured today by the Merliton, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Merliton Miniatures in Italy, even in the year 2025. I think that's pretty cool. So there you have it, everybody, my 3 pizza-themed Dungeons & Dragons miniatures throughout the ages. Let me know if you have any food-based miniatures that you like. I know the whole thing of like having goofy miniatures. I like most of my stuff to kind of be not goofy, but every once in a while having a goofy thing for like a one-shot or for like a dumb thing to happen, I think that's pretty fun. What you don't want to have is just a constant barrage of goofiness. In my opinion, what makes goofiness in D&D special is that it's kind of like a separate rare thing that's juxtaposed as to what normally goes on at the table. That's my opinion. Maybe you have a different opinion. If you do, let me know in the comments below.